we don't know the hour or the day. Time is such a gift, try and control your destiny. We don't know the hour or the day. Unity is strength, let's stand as one without delay. Cause no bad vibe me a chant. Me no want no bad vibe me a chant. I just peace the times all around, yeah. No bad vibe me a chant. No bad vibe me a chant. Say me no want no bad vibe me a chant. I just peace the time all around, yeah. No bad vibe me a chant.
What's up, everybody? How you guys doing today? Welcome to another episode of Deaf Taught Us How to Live, and we're dealing with AVM Awareness Month series. This is part 5. I had 4 great guests on for this month of October, AVM Awareness. I had Stephanie Swanson start off our month, and she was talking about how she's an advocate for aneurysms and AVM awareness in her state of Wisconsin. Then I had Diane Batchelor. She's an author of the book of God in the Meantime. She was very questioning what was God doing with her, why she had the AVM. So she's bringing that to the forefront with her advocacy as a spiritual person as well as an AVM survivor. And then I had Dominic Savucci, and he is a young person that had an AVM rupture. And now he's a coach and also a teacher. He actually is in my same town of Rockland County, New York. Last week, I had Alina Gonzalez, an actress that had an AVM rupture, and all of a sudden, it took almost everything away from her independence. And now she has to rely on other people to take care of her. So that's her advocacy, showing how she can move on, how other people can move on. But tonight, I have a special guest for you guys. This is my baby sister. She's rolled with the punches with me, you know, all the craziness that I have done. I actually have her actual phone number. I know who she is. I talked with her. I had a show with her before called You Too Young to Have a Stroke. She's an amazing person. She's an AVM survivor as well, but her advocacy is a little bit different. And I'm going to let her come onto the stage. And once I bring my good, beautiful, sexy, I can't say the word because I don't want to be banned off of here, but she's a sexy little thing. She's a sexy little mama. But she's coming onto the show. Her name is Christina Perez, my girl, my homie. Please welcome my friend. Christina, are you there?
And I'm back.
There's my sexy little girl there. How you doing, sister?
And I'm back.
I love it. I love it. I love it, baby girl.
Closing out AVM awareness, baby.
You sure are.
How are you? It's been a long time.
It has been. It has been. But I am so happy that you're here. And I want to close out with you, particularly you, because not saying that my other guests didn't go through what you have gone through, but you have gone through such a transformation from being an AVM survivor, still having the AVM inside of your head, to gaining your independence, doing all this with partial blindness. And I was very impressed by you when I first met you. It's something that you said to me that I was like, nah, I don't know what the heck you're talking about. But you said, Greg, I don't want to be on disability. I want my independence. I want to go back to work. I want to live. I was like, I hear you. So that's why I wanted you to call it the show, because I wanted you to actually speak about, you know, how you have transformed your life from being an AVM survivor to getting your independence to say, you know what, I don't care what kind of disability this is giving me. I'm going to live my life. So please tell us who you are. Tell us who you are. The mic is yours. Go ahead, sister.
I am Christina Perez, honestly, legally Detweiler, but I am the daughter of Luz Elena Herrera, and I am a AVM survivor. I am such a survivor in the sense that I went through a lot more than most have gone through with the AVM rupture in my cerebral, in my brain, in my left pica. I suffered 2 hemorrhagic strokes. I also live with now permanent blindness in my right eye. With that being said, I absolutely did go to try to get disability and live my life that way. I was denied, and that more than anything gave me that much more motivation to be like, I need to move forward. I think a lot of what we previously did in our podcast was that the difference between you and I is that you had a lot of connections with other AVM survivors where I did not. I was surrounded by people who had no idea what AVM was or what the consequences of stroke were. And I think that our journeys were very, very different with that being said. And that's something I want to make sure to bring light to.
All right, my sister, I get that. I'm gonna put my glasses on because I gotta see how
Glasses?
yeah, man, I got glasses now, Shadi. I'm getting old. I want to let everybody know that's on Instagram. If you are on Instagram and you're watching this live, this on Instagram is just a basically snippet of what we're actually doing. If you want to ask us questions or leave comments, go to our YouTube channel. I have it scrolling on the screen right now. That's AVM Superhero. You could catch us live and you can put in comments in the show and have myself or Miss Luna answer for you guys. Okay, guys? So please go over there and check us out.
Absolutely.
Christina, I'm very curious because I know you and we have talked a whole lot, and I am very curious about you in that you got denied from disability and then you had to go and do this. And I think, and I'm not really sure, you could correct me if I'm wrong, you did most of this basically on your own, and then you found yourself and you started to live your life and you prosper in now. So can you talk to us about that time when you was basically trying to find yourself and doing all this and becoming independent by yourself?
Absolutely. I would not honestly say that I did it by myself. At that time, my father was very involved and was the verbal advocate for me at the time. I was still in rehab at Brooks Rehabilitation Center after leaving ICU for like 2 months. And I was to the point where I was able to kind of grasp things. And I knew that essentially with where I was in my progress, I still was not able to walk upstairs independently. I definitely was not able to work or drive independently. I was under the household of my father. And that first denial for me was fire for me, to try to see if I had a little bit more inside myself to keep going forward. I did not. And again, this is not taking away because I know that all of our journeys are completely different. All of our discrepancies of what we actually walk out of this actual AVM rupture journey is completely different. I knew for myself, I had more. So therefore, I said, I do not want to try to go through disability again. I want to go and work. I want to go and be independent. Whatever that looks like, that's what I want, because I can't have somebody telling me that what I went through, versus, let me correct that. What I lived through does not define a disability. I almost died. I almost died, and that's not enough. I have one eye. I almost died. That's not enough. And that's where I said I need to do more for myself. I want more for myself.
My sister, I'm with you on that, and I think you're being a little bit coy to me because I want more from you, sister, because there's a lot that you are to me. And I don't know if you know this or not, and I want other people to understand this as well. Um, I look at you as a person that did a lot of background soul searching, shadow work for yourself. And I think I was doing that at the same time as you. And you manifest a lot of things within your life that has come true to you now.
Yes.
Like right now, New York is like 80 degrees. And that's why I'm wearing this tropical shirt, because I'm manifesting myself to be somewhere very tropical. And I was like, yeah, this is the best time for me to actually talk about this, because this person that I'm going to have on the show is really into that. So for us as survivors, as trying to make that next step, like you said, you didn't want to do all that stuff. You didn't want to go through that
No.
disappointment again, and you wanted what you have right now. So can you talk about, how you found yourself? Because we used to talk very deep about this stuff, like finding ourselves, taking away that old person and living in that new person that we are now. Can you talk about that journey for you and how it actually blessed you to who you are today?
That journey for me was that very moment where I let go, where where on death taught us how to live, right? So at that moment where I reached death, it taught me how to live. You have a choice. You have a choice to either go, and I do recall, and I'm sure people could go back on our podcast and look where I said, I let go. I was like, you know what, I'm good. Let's go. However, the energy that I felt from women within my lifetime that some I've met, some of which I've never met. My grandmother, the energy of basically my non-blood sister, Katrina and Catherine, their mother, Agnes. I felt the energy of Tina Flood, who was a woman in which my mother raised in her teenage years. I felt that energy, but I did feel a sense of peace. That when people ask me, like, you were there, 2 hemorrhagic strokes, being in a coma, all those, I felt that. I recall that. I understand that. I had a choice. My choice was to be here. My choice was to live my purpose. My purpose, I truly feel, is to be able to vocalize these things. How is it that I experienced something so tragic in which the majority of people do not survive, and I'm still in the capacity where I can verbalize these things, where I can visualize these things, and which I can portray these things? And I chose that. And because of that, I've become that much more spiritual, that much more in tuned into energy, because it wasn't a white light. It wasn't, I saw gates or anything. I felt those energy of those women telling me it was not time. And it wasn't time. Hence, I'm here being cute, being
Being sexy, girl,
demure.
being sexy, girl, being sexy. Forget you. No, and I completely understand what you're telling me with that, because I and I'm so blessed that I have met you, because the simple fact that when I met you, I was going through that same type of journey, and
Yeah,
nobody understood what I was talking about, and you
yeah.
did.
It sounds wild.
It
Like, you
sounds
what?
ludicrous.
You felt death, and I love that you do. Death taught us how to live, because you really relate to that,
Right.
because you felt that. You felt that beginning and ending intertwining, and you chose to live. I
Right.
feel like I was put in a position with the AVM rupture, with the 2 hemorrhagic strokes, where people don't even survive 1 stroke. I went through 2. I went through,
Right.
this is in our brain. Our brain is our chip. This is our computer. This is it. This is our microchip. And I do recall, which I'm sure you could go back and look at our podcast where I said, you know what? I'm going to let go. I felt myself letting go. And then midway, I was like, I think we got some stuff to do. You know what? I'm not ready to let go. And
Isn't
that
that
energy.
Isn't that amazing? That, and I don't think people really grasp that concept that you're talking about. And I'm glad you came and emphasized it and came into the camera. It is so easy to die. You really got to make a conscious choice to live. Yeah.
That
people don't understand that.
Death doesn't teach us how to live. Living teaches us how to die.
Ooh. So you're saying I got to change my title?
I do not, honey. You stay with what you know. You're doing amazing. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you, sis.
Amazing. I'm just dropping gems, baby.
Okay, you're dropping jewels. So, Christina, for the people that's out there that is trying to get to that place that you have found and change your life, can we talk about that? Because I think there's a lot of people that did survive and they're still giving up. They're still falling. They want death. Instead of trying to figure out what is the best possibility that they can have within their life. Like for you, and people probably don't know this unless you tell them, you are partially blind. One of your eye you cannot see. You know, there's other people that say, you know, I'm blind, I'm giving up, I ain't doing anything. You doing your thing. You're gorgeous.
I'm trying to.
And, you know, you work and you're independent and you're living your life. Like,
and thankfully,
what was that thing
my job right now allows me 3 screens. But let it be known when I'm sure if those who do still work from home, the blue screen, I was going through it. I can't work off 1 screen, baby. I need 3. I got 1 eye. But I have 20/20 in 1 eye. I will say this. And similar to, you know, when we were doing our podcast and how we were situating things, there are a few coworkers who were able to pick up during Teams meeting that if I have to read something very closely, which you even yourself said when we were doing our podcast, if I have to get close to the camera, you can tell my eyes go. I did a lot of physical therapy with trying to keep my eyes straight, but I myself even picked that up. But I do have 20/20 on that one side. One of the big things, and even watching this AVM awareness, because again, we're closing out AVM awareness. Physically, I do not look as though I have a disability. What I loved about this particular AVM awareness that you did is that you had other people who were on who physically showed that they've experienced some type of traumatic brain and, you know, AVM or disability, whether it be, you know, the slope with their mouth, their eyes, things of that sort, which I loved in the sense that because physically they are showing their disability, people automatically judge them, where I'm the opposite. You yourself, Mr. Greg Graham, are the opposite. We have invisible disabilities. You look at me and I'm just, you know, glorious. However, I'm blind. And I have hydrocephalus. I have a VP shunt in my head. I have a tube that goes from my brain down through my chest into my stomach. I have anxiety, all these things. And I think that in itself with AVM awareness is something that needs to be put out there. We are so so different. We are shown physically, we're shown mentally, we're shown emotionally, but we are all within that same category. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense. My producer is coming to me and telling me we have some comments, so I have to
Lord.
read the comments out there. So let's go from the start. The first one we have there is saying, "Hey y'all, that's from Rizelle. Hey Rizelle, how you doing, sister?
Rizelle, baby. Hey, girl. We're reuniting. She
Oh
missed
my gosh,
me.
this is a lot for me. This is a lot for
She
me.
missed me. I miss you, boo. I hope you're doing well, beautiful.
Oh my God. Next comment, Saida Holmes. Hey guys. Hey Saida, how you doing?
Wait, you get her name right.
Yeah, I was practicing. I know I was chopping it up before. Saida, right? Saida. How you doing, Saida?
Yes.
Miss Holmes, how you doing today? All right, next one. We got Destiny. Let's go. Tribe. Hashtag tribe.
Always tribe.
There we go. Destiny again. Thank you so much for sharing your journey with us. Absolutely. You know how she do. Destiny, you know how she do, Destiny, for real. Next one. Well, Destiny is one of our #1 talkers when we was on our show. She used to keep on talking to us.
Yeah, Destiny was very active.
Yeah, she's very active. We love her. She knows us very much. Mr. Doja.
Where's Doja?
Mr. Doja, how you doing, sir?
What he saying?
He just saying tribe, the same thing that everybody else was saying.
Hey, Mr. Doja. Hi to your beautiful wife. Happy belated birthday.
His birthday just passed too.
Oh, did it? What's
I don't
Mr.
know.
Doja,
They
Virgo?
like each other. What is it? I think that's Scorpio.
Yeah, Virgo.
Is that Scorpio? October, late October is Scorpio, isn't it?
Libra.
Late October?
Yep, it's Libra.
Okay. All right. But, he is the one that actually made up our theme music for our show.
He did.
So check him out, Mr. Doja on YouTube. He's a pretty cool cat. I really like him. He's a really good guy.
Beautiful wife.
They are lovely. Who's our next comment we have here? Miss Holmes again. Saida, how you doing? You are truly amazing. I love it when you share your thoughts and feelings about your AVM experience. That was Saida saying that.
Thank you, Sai. I love you.
Is that the last comment? We got one more. We got a couple more. Destiny, one of our favorites. We have all these bad days. How do you continue to stay positive when life throws you a curveball? I believe she's talking to you.
How do I stay positive when life throws me a curveball? There is no curveball on this life in which I could actually envision that would be equivalent to in which I survived. So with that being said, I can honestly say that prior to this AVM rupture, prior to the strokes, prior to rehabilitation, I probably would not be able to handle as such. However, now, knowing what I went through, knowing in which I had to fight through, things don't bother me as much. And I'm very selective of the things in which I put my energy into, because I know the energy you put out, you get back. And I always want good energy.
See, this is what I'm talking about, guys. This is why I have Christina on the show, because she's not just talking about normal advocacy. Like, well, this is how you prevent AVMs, or this is what AVM. She's talking about how she transformed her life from stop being stressed out from things that she could not control to being in the moment. And basically, that I was doing the same thing. I was stressed out on things I couldn't control. People was bothering me. Things was getting in the way. I don't know how you do when you go to work or things like that. All these things that come up, and you just like, and just let it flow instead of just letting it stay in you and linger in you. Is that correct?
You give yourself grace and you give others grace. That is something that I pass on to people in conversation And I mean that because I utilize that for myself. I actually have a picture of myself as a little girl next to my desk where I work. I'm going to share it. I don't know if I have to flip it. But it's a little picture of me. And that is my inspiration. That little girl, I give her grace. I give her grace to know that she's going to be okay. You're not going to know everything. You're not going to get everything. Those things, you know, you may have lived through unfortunate things, which I did, you know, surviving an AVM, going through 2 hemorrhagic strokes, having hydrocephalus, having a mechanical device in your brain that keeps you alive. You're going to be okay. And I'm going to make sure you're going to be okay until that.
All right. So like I said before, everybody that's on Instagram is just a preview. So if you put in any comments or any things on Instagram, I'm not going to be able to see it on this particular show. If you want to put your information on this show, go to the YouTube channel, AVM Superhero. We'd love to communicate with you and talk to you live. Do we have any more comments?
Where's that Spassy producer? Where's she at?
Yeah, she brought it back up. She brought it back up. Yolanda come up there saying hi, guys. Hey, Yolanda. Yolanda's another AVM survivor. Thank you for saying hello to us. Is there anything else we have out there?
Hi.
Oh, she said late October is Scorpio. I knew that, but I wasn't going to say nothing to Christina.
What is it?
She said late October is Scorpio.
Oh, it is? Oh, okay. I'm thinking October 7th. I do recall my
we didn't say we said late. We didn't say October 7th. We said late, sister. We said late.
Oh, wait, no. Because Libra, I do recall someone in my life.
September,
October 7th is Libra.
Right.
So you're saying late October?
So there's Virgo, August, September. Libra is September, October. Scorpio is
yeah, that's right.
October,
Scorpio goes
November.
into November. You daggone Scorpios.
I like the Scorpios. All right. Anything else we have out there? Thank you for sharing. Yolanda is saying thank you for sharing your story.
Hi, Yolanda. Absolutely.
Is there anything else? We have Miss Donna Dunkley, and she says, "Hey, you all. Thanks for the month-long show, opening our eyes on AVM. You all are so blessed. God be praised." Appreciate you, my sister.
I love that comment, and I will reverse that. Greg, how do you feel when people say that to you? How do you feel when, if somehow in the conversation you are able to reveal with what you went through with your AVM rupture, the rehabilitation, and someone says, you are so blessed, because the word blessed means positivity, right? Positivity things. How do you handle when someone tells you you're so blessed that you went through what you went through and survived it?
Great question. That comes into multiple layers for me, because I have to understand where they're coming from versus where I am. To me, I do agree with that, but I don't think people understand the gravity of what we have gone through and what we still go through. So to me, yes, I feel like it's a very great thing that it happened to me, the AVM, but not the way that people will think that I am happy for, because it's not necessarily I'm happy for life. I'm happy that I get to experience life in a different lens. So that's the blessing part that for me it is. It's not that I'm blessed that I survived, because I could have easily died. So I don't really care about that part per se. I care about the part that I could actually have a conversation with a person, and I'm like a human lie detector. I could tell if they're lying to me or not. I could have a conversation with people, and I could tell if they're being really genuine with me. I could walk around and I could say, you know what? I know who will be at my funeral, because I could tell what type of person is going to be around me. Because when I was down and out, a lot of people left me that I thought was my true friends. and my true friends came to me when I was down and out, and they'll be there for my life. So I guess that's the way I see it. I don't know if that makes any sense to you. What about you?
Do you ever, prior to me answering that, do you ever correct people with that and say that I don't necessarily feel blessed that I went through that, but exactly how you just explained to everyone? Do you ever get into that detail, or do you kind of keep that for yourself?
It depends. It depends who I'm talking to, because some people, and you got me talking like this is my interview. Some
It is.
people, whatever. Some people, and I don't want to sound harsh about it. Some people are not intelligent enough to have that type of conversation. And what I mean by
Or
that is that they get into their feelings more than what they're actually talking about. So I see if a person is very emotional when they speak, I don't go there with them. But if they are able to have a open-minded conversation about that, I do. So I
and
don't know
I'm
if that
glad
answers
that
your
you explain it that way, more so in the sense that I feel that us as AVM survivors, for those who have survived, and sending an abundance of love for those who are still struggling, who have not experienced those things. Um, Shout out to Paige Kelly Foundation, to Miss Selena and her beautiful daughter. Um, I think that us as AVM survivors who have experienced it and are amongst other people need to do better with being okay with someone not being open to it. And I say that in this, what we're bringing awareness to is not something that people are accustomed to. How are we to judge someone if they can't grasp these things or aren't intelligent enough to grasp these things? The only reason why we're able to is because we experienced it. We've lived it. I feel like our purpose, and again, I'm speaking for myself, I feel like my purpose on this universe is to be able to formulate these words, formulate these emotions to those who could never fathom what it is that I experience. I am deeply blessed when people say, "Bless you, you survived that." I don't feel that. I am blessed that I still have the cognitive ability, especially that my AVM rupture was in my brain, which is our microchip, right? That works everything in your body, to be able to still formulate words. Now, granted, there are absolutely times in which I jumble up words, or I need more time for myself, things of that sort. But I feel like we as AVM survivors also need the same patience in which we request from others. How can you just throw on someone, "I need you to be patient and understand these things," when we're just learning this ourselves?
Great point. Great point. I completely agree with you on that. And I think that's the thing that we don't grasp
We
properly
don't.
as survivors. I get it.
We don't.
I get it. I get it. It seems like that's a issue that you have dealt with.
Absolutely.
How do you tell people, not non-survivors, but to survivors, how can you tell them to have patience and learn from that so they can actually get better and not be stressed out by other people's words?
Well, I would say for myself and my recovery and the things that we've also, documented on our podcast, was that you surrounded yourself with other survivors. I did not. I was surrounded by everyone who had no idea what the hell an AVM was, what stroke recovery was. For myself, again, I'm speaking for myself, promoted me and gave me that extra, I don't know, endurance to make sure that not only that I kind of pushed myself to ensure that I was at a capacity where I could be able to verbalize and let these people know this is what I'm going through. This is who I am. Although you look at me as though I'm normal, I'm having a difficult time with this. I have been absolutely blessed to be in a situation with work, with my employment, where I have an amazing team. I have an empathetic team. Empathy before anything rules anything. And to be able to have empathy, that allows you to allow that little bit of, hey, let me take a time out and understand this person. I have never second guessed being able to tell one of my coworkers, listen, I know you explained this to me 2 or 3 times. Love you, Celine. However, let's redo this because I need to make notes. I have a trapper keeper. That's like so 1990. I'm probably the only person on my team in my position that has a trapper keeper. But for me, that's what I need. And I feel like as a survivor, if you are able and to be in a position where you get back into the workforce and you're able to be in those things, you have to be able to verbalize those things, because you can't put pressure on someone or expectations on someone to give you grace if they have no idea what grace they need to give you. They don't know what you're going through.
Bars. I get it. And I just to piggyback on that just a little bit, I know we have some more comments, but I just want to bring this thing in before we go back to the comments. You're absolutely right. We have to make sure that we articulate exactly what's going on with us if we want people to actually deal with us the way that we need to deal with. I get it. But there's another thing that I wanted to bring out, and I think people look at us as like God's gifts, or we are changed and we're such holy rollers or things like that. We're basically the same person that we were before, and we're not fitting into anybody else's system of what you think that we are. We are who we were. We just had something happen to us. We survived it, and we're trying to make a difference for other people to understand how to survive this particular life.
I would disagree with you.
Okay, disagree. Go ahead.
I am not who I was prior to my AVM rupture. I am not who those who knew me prior to that knew me to be as the AVM survivor. I consider this Christina 2.0. And Christina 2.0 understands a lot more, is much more in tune, is much more in line to her purpose versus who I was prior. Yes, these things happened to me. And similar to your title, Death Taught Us How to Live. Living through this taught me who I am. And I don't feel like I knew my full potential prior to this. I don't look at life as deeply as I did prior to this. So I am absolutely not the person I was prior to this. I am different.
Okay. I hear you. I wasn't really necessarily saying that I was the same person I was.
Well, I just want to make it clear.
I wasn't necessarily saying I was the same person I was before, but I'm just trying to point out that just because we survived this doesn't mean that we're automatically holy rollers now, and we're just these type of people that, you know, we have this. Most of us have the same type of personalities. We still probably drink or smoke or cuss or whatever. We just had this situation happen to us. So it's not necessarily that we are just completely a new person and all the things that we used to do before is not existent. I'm not saying that it is. I'm not saying it is not. I'm just saying don't look at us as we are the chosen persons of the earth, because we're not.
What do you mean the chosen person of the earth? Elaborate on that. A lot of
people like to say, "Oh, God has blessed you. This has happened to you, and you survived this. You must be here for a reason." You're here for a reason too. You know, that's why you're still born. You know how hard it is for someone to be born in this earth? You know how many miscarriages that happen? Like a lot of people will put this kind of strains on you just because this happened to us, like we're some kind of celebrity now. I don't consider myself a
I
celebrity.
would be in agreement in that, but I also would be in agreement that how much of that do we actually put on ourselves? How much of that do we actually portray that on ourselves, that because we went through what we went through, there has to be a purpose. There's a reason why we lived. I need to be an advocate. I need to show this. I need to be a voice. Do you? And I say that even with me. You and I had a podcast, right? Our podcast was in reference to AVM, survivors. I then came to you because I reached out to my company and I wanted a promotion. And I said to you, I'm like, I really want to focus on getting my career, my financial career, my financial stability in line. I don't have time to be an AVM advocate. I need to get my stuff in order. That has nothing to do with the fact that I don't care about AVM advocacy or that I don't want to be out there putting it out there. It has to do with the fact that you want to live. And I think that's where it's very gray, that it's not about because you survived this, now your purpose is to be an advocate. Your purpose is to be an advocate for yourself. Your purpose is to live. If you survive death, death taught us how to live. Your purpose from living from this is to live. I came to you and I said to you, working this particular promotion for me will allow me the means for me to hit my goals. I want to have my own food truck one day. I want to have my own restaurant, God willing, universe willing, one day. But to give all that energy to advocacy, I couldn't do it. I have to live. I don't have disability. I don't have someone taking care of me. I need to do these things on my own. And I think that's very important to bring up, that just because you survived this doesn't mean that the entirety of your life means for you to be an advocate. You yourself prospering in your positions and whatever it is that you do, you yourself living out your dreams the second time around is being an advocate for an AVM survivor. You survived what the hell you survived, and now you're living your damn dream. How is that not advocacy?
See, that's why I had you on the show. You brought it full circle, and I really appreciate that. The whole point of this is Death taught us how to live, making our lives more productive than what we ever could imagine it could be. Just because this happened to us doesn't mean that it's over. Christina, when I was in my hospital bed and they had me tied down, I said to myself, I never want to be in this position again without fulfilling what I have to do within my life. So I do all the things that I want to do. It might sound selfish, but hey, I've been there. So that's what we're saying to you guys. Do the same thing. Keep on moving forward. All right, so let's wrap this all up. And I thank you for bringing it full circle. I got a couple more comments, but before we close out the show, I want to ask you some questions, my hot seat questions that I have for each and every one of my guests. And then I want you to close out the show. However you want to close it, the show will be yours. But before we do that, I got a couple more comments. So if you guys have any more comments, please bring them in because we're about to shut down in a quite couple of minutes. So producer, bring in the comments so we could talk to our
producer.
This is Dominic. This is actually, he was on our series. He was the third one on our series. He says, grateful to still be here and motivated to make a difference. Thank you, sir. And if you want to see his interview, like I said, go to my YouTube channel, AVM Superhero, and check out the Death Taught Us How to Live AVM series. He was part 3. We have 5 parts. So look at all 5 of them for the month of October. Okay, do we have another one, producer? Yeah, this one is from Kim. Thank you for sharing your story. My AVM can't be treated as it scares me a lot. Thank you guys so much. I hear you. And I'm unfortunate that it's happening to you, that you cannot get it treated. There's a lot of people that out there that doesn't have it treated either.
Correct.
But they still living. So we just, I know I will say, just keep on living your life. You never know what is out there for you, but living in fear and darkness and not doing what you're supposed to do within your life, that's even worse than death. So go out and live until the last breath that you can actually take. I don't know if you want to say anything to that, my sister.
I do. Your fear is real. Don't let anyone, not doctors, not anyone, tell you what you feel. That fear in your heart and your soul is not real. It's real. And it's real fear. And that's okay. And it's okay to be afraid. Find something that makes you feel safe. And whatever it is that you find, regardless of what anyone feels or that they don't think it's okay, it's about you. You first, always. Find what makes you feel safe. Live in that safety. That's
See,
it.
guys, she's not just beautiful, she's intelligent as well. My AVM survivor sister. I want to thank you so much for coming on to the show, my sister. You're very, 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 very much welcome each and every time you come on here. I really appreciate your thoughts, your words, and also challenging me. I love it. But before we leave, I have my hot seat questions that I ask all my guests.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, I have 5 questions I'm going to ask you. And after the end of those hot seat questions, I want you to close out the show. So when you're done with your response, say AVM superhero or Greg, next question, please. Give me like 30 seconds. I'm going to try to make
You're
these
Greg to me. You ain't no AV.
whatever you want to call me. It's cool.
You're Greg.
Oh, gosh. I can't do it right
You
now.
miss me,
I
honey.
can't.
I
can't.
with
Yeah,
your
I do
little
miss you.
glasses. You look so studious.
I'm going to take them off now because you just did that to me. All right. Here's our questions. Question number 1. Are you ready, my sister?
I'm ready. Let's go.
All right. Question number 1. What do you expect from your advocacy?
I expect from my advocacy, for those who are not familiar with AVMs, to be able to get an insight of the different levels of what an AVM can actually cause. I have been blessed with, mingling with Greg to come across so many individuals, Selena and her beautiful daughter, this Paige Kelly Foundation, which did not have a lot of positive things, where there's so many different levels to this advocacy and being able to bring awareness. Miss Erica and her mother, that AVM awareness is so much deeper than just pre-diagnosing these things. It's the aftermath. And I feel that because I'm able to formulate these words, I'm able to bring a little bit of advocacy as far as maybe something in which I said for someone to do some research and understand that. And the different levels between children, mid-adults, adults, later adults like Greg, in which we can all experience this. There's so much room to grow. And the more that we bring advocacy to it, the more people essentially we can help getting scanned and skipping this part of recovery.
I said 30 seconds. You gave me like 5 minutes.
I don't care.
And I'm not an older adult. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't care what you said. And I saw it in your email too. 30-second response. And I was like, boy, why are you sending me this? You know who I am. I don't care what you say about your little show.
Okay. Question number 2.
I'm going to say what I'm going to say.
What is the one thing you want people to know about AVMs?
That it can happen to anyone. And that, out of anything, is the most important thing to know. Children, most importantly, children, adults, seniors. AVM is not just to any age group. And because the lack of research, because the lack of resources, it's something that really goes unnoticed. And I hope that those who are watching and are able to kind of research a little bit, there's so many different forums in which you can understand that this really does happen to 1%, and the majority of us don't live. So for us doing this podcast are those who were able to live. If not, we were not the ones to live. Like, Paige Kaylee Foundation, Miss Lena, who speaks, and her daughter who speaks for us, to have that platform to be able to verbalize the importance of this advocacy. It doesn't come very far, none. So that's what I would say. Do your research.
Okay, question number 3. Where can an AVM survivor go to get help?
I looked at this question. Greg sent me this question. I am different in the sense that, and I've been very verbal about that. When I went through my recovery, I was not involved in any type of AVM survivor groups. I did not have any AVM survivor friends. I was surrounded by people who were living their life and kind of semi knew about strokes. The AVM thing wasn't a thing. I will say, in the world in which we live in now, you need to Google. Now, whether or not that does something for you and where you are, because again, as this, us closing this AVM Awareness Month, we have different levels of AVM survivors and what disabilities they gained from experiencing this. Whatever makes you feel comfortable. And it's not even about comfortable, whatever makes you feel safe. At this point, if you survive this, you need to feel safe. It doesn't matter what anyone thinks. It doesn't matter what anyone looks like. If you feel safe, if your energy feels safe, then that's where you need to be in. Me personally, I felt safe amongst people who didn't experience it because I felt like I was bringing them into something they had no idea that was even possible. So wherever you feel safe, that's where you go to.
Okay. Next question number 4. What misconceptions do people have of an AVM survivor?
That we're disabled, that we somehow did things in our lifetime to cause the AVM, where we are actually born with it. And 99.9% of the time, we don't realize that we have an AVM until it ruptures. For the majority of us, we are able to survive it. The other half, not so much. And with that being said, AVMs are not caused by lifestyles. AVMs are not caused by decisions. You are born with an AVM. Please Google what an AVM is. However, yes, lifestyle things and things in which we do can irritate those things, but you're essentially born with it. The other thing is that because we speak so much about how rare it is, I feel like people have a misconception that, like, how can you prove that? There's nothing to prove. And I want AVM survivors to understand that. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. No one is entitled. No one, not your mother, not your father, no one is entitled to you putting yourself out. If you have been diagnosed with an AVM, for you to essentially bring proof to it. That's for you. You first, always.
Okay. I can dig that. Last and final question. What did the threat of death teach you?
The death threat taught me that I haven't been living. That prior to this AVM, I was not living. I was surviving. I was in survival mode. And I think in general, whether or not you deal with an AVM or not, that is something essentially we all go through. You're in survival mode. You want to have a job. You want to be able to pay your bills. You want to be able to pay your rent. You want to get your meds if you're on meds. You want to have food. Being able to take accountability for myself and know that the things in which I feel are real. Taking accountability that the mistakes in which I've made in my life are real because I chose those things. Death taught me how to take accountability for myself. And with that being said, I take accountability for the way that I live my life now on the second chance. And the way I'm going to live now on the second chance is me first. I ain't gonna shit about nobody else. Me first.
I hear you, sister. Well, I appreciate everything that you have done for tonight. You're off the hot seat. So I'm going to allow you to close out. So for people on Instagram, after 60 minutes, they will close out for you guys. So like I was telling you before, that was just a sample. You're supposed to come over to the YouTube channel and check us out on YouTube, AVM Superhero. Christina, as always, it's always been a pleasure to have you on my show.
I miss you. I can't believe you have glasses.
I always had glasses, actually. You know, this is who I was.
Producer.
My sister, close up the show. Anything you want to leave with our people, please leave it with them. If they want to find you, show them how they can find you. Anything. The show is yours. Please close out. I'm going to leave you here with our fans and our audience. Talk to you later, my sister. Peace.
Bye, everyone. For those of you who stops in and watch, thank you for coming in and watching. Greatly appreciate it. I am so grateful for Greg for living his purpose and bringing insight for us on this rare condition and bringing me back on. I want to encourage everyone to ensure that you make yourself a priority, that all those things in which you're feeling about you being a burden and things of that sort, you are a priority. And you first, always. Give yourself grace. And when you give yourself grace and the energy you put out there, you get back with love.